Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here coming back at you with another video. Okay, so I already took the cover off. Now, I've done this on other videos, so there was no point in me dragging this video out to a whole lengthy thing. Um, so I've already removed the clutch cover, which you guys have seen me do a few times now. So I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse with that. So here we have the clutch assembly and the rotary valve assembly. And that is the part that I'm going to get to today. We're going to take apart the clutch assembly. We're going to check the discs and take the rotary apart and check inside there because there seems to be a little noise on this engine. So that's kind of what I'm looking to see if I could find anything out today on what it could possibly be. So I'm going to get you guys in the stand and we will get crack-a-lacking. All right, so got you guys in the stand and you're looking at the clutch assembly and the rotary valve housing. So here's the clutch assembly here and the rotary valve housing right there. So we're not exactly sure what the noise is, where it is, and what's going on with it. So we are going to remove the clutch. So when you take the cover off, this little piece right here falls out, and that sits right inside there. Now, every time you go to put this engine together, that may fall out. So before you put that together, take a dab of grease and stick grease. If you don't have grease, you can use Vaseline or any type of that type of stuff. Put it right on there like that. In fact, here's another one you can use. If you don't have that either, you can use toothpaste. Works really well. Just need a little dab, just to make it sticky to hold it, you know. So we'll take that off. I'm using a pair of snap ring pliers. Gonna put those in those two little grooves there, and then they'll pop out. And now here's what the pliers look like. This is an Astro tool, made by Astro Tools. Part number 94014. That's the proper snap ring clip. And then there's a thrust washer in there, so you stick your finger in the middle, slide the whole assembly right off there, and then you'll get that with the spring and the thrust washer on the inside. Okay. So now I'm doing an inspection. I'm making sure that this screw right here for the drum is not loose, making sure that the bearings look good, that it feels good, there's no excessive play. This is going to move up and down, but I'm basically looking for anything out of the ordinary, any signs of it rubbing, any signs of wear marks. You can pop this little gear right here up. This is your oil pump drive, and look inside the transmission, see if you see any gears, anything that's out of the ordinary. Everything in there looks great. So, and to put that back in, sometimes it doesn't want to go back in. You just turn the shaft and it will realign. All right, so everything is good there. I'm suspecting with this something in the crankshaft area. It could be a bad bearing, it could be a bad rotary valve, but I do want to check this rotary valve. So this one right here has been sitting for a while. I just want to make sure it's 100%. Now, there's a little, cannot forget this little piece. This O-ring and the, what do you call it there, this fitting, go in between the rotary valve and the housing. So you got to make sure you don't get that dirty and you don't lose it. Because that right there is your automatic oil passage right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a screwdriver and a hammer, bend this tab over, that is a locking tab so that this jam nut right here can't come off. I'm using a 19mm socket and of course my Milwaukee 12 volt. Now here's a little tip for you guys. If you have one of these come in handy. This will zap it right off. If you have to use a ratchet, you're going to have to use a piston stop. Okay? This right here just takes it right off with ease. Don't have to worry about a single thing. Then that pops off. Now on this tab, this is directional. There's a little piece right there, little piece that sticks up. See that? Now, if you remember, it looks a lot like what we did when we put the rear sprocket on the, not the rear sprocket, but the front sprocket on the engine when we did the chain and sprockets. And this gear right here pops off like that, and there's a little keyway, there's a spacer, and a ring. I don't touch that, I just leave it right on there. This right here, this housing will pop off around it. Okay, so let me see if I can zap that off. That will come off with my impact gun. Almost lost that one, huh? Okay. All right. So now we have all three of those, all six of those bolts out, and then this housing right here will come off like that. Okay, so here's the surface right here for the rotary valve, which looks very good. You can see it still has the hatch marks. And right here is the rotary valve. Now the rotary valve, you see how it looks. That's the back side of it right there. And there is a thickness tolerance for this. So we're going to check that and see if we can do this the proper way here. So let's see here. You also want to check your housing. Here's the back side of the housing right here where the rotary valve rides on. Okay, so you want to check that and make sure that right there is not all damaged and that nothing was in there. So that all actually looks pretty darn good. I'm going to put that down. Let me go get the book and get the specifications. All right, so looking at the rotary valve, let's see if I can shrink you guys down a little bit. We have thickness here, and a thickness here. You want to check your thickness in at least 3 spots on this. Now, I'm using my digital vernier, caliper vernier. Okay, so I'm going to check it this way. I like that. On the, what do you call it there, millimeter, I got it on inches right now. Or you can check it on metric, don't really matter. Oh, that's fractions, here we go. So I got 0.69. See that right there? 0.69 there. I got 0.68. Let's check that again. 69. And check it in the middle. 68. So between 0.68 and 0.69. And then we look in the book under KM 100, and it's the standard. There's a few of them. There's an A1, A2, A3, and A4 standard service limits, and then you have your KM, A6, A7. Now, what does that mean? These are the generations of this bike. Now, this right here is a 79, so I know it's the last one. It's an A7. And then it shows you right here, service limit 0.7 millimeters to 0.28 inches. And then the wear limit, it tells you 0.5 millimeters, 0.02 inches. So we are at, on that rotary valve, on the millimeters, 0.65. So on the wear limit, we'll go over to here, 0.65. Where are we here? That was on inches? No. Millimeters. Okay, so basically you go to 0.6. Okay, so let's go here. This 0.7 is new. Right there, it's reading is 0.6. And then it can go down to 0.5. So the rotary valve that's in this is right now reading 0.6. So it's right in between new and junk. Okay? Which is good. That's good. So we have a good rotary valve. Now, you also have the wear pattern on it. You can see the wear pattern right here. It looks like a scuffing here, and then the rest of it's good. And then on the back of it, it's just the whole varnish part is, I mean, the whole, what do you call it there? Nice end of it is worn off. I have another rotary valve used And it has this right here is where it was sitting with the intake opened up, which that right there will clean right up. And then the other side's pretty decent on that. So we're going to go ahead and use this particular one just because it's a, what do you call it there? It's a better rotary valve. So, okay. So now we have another thing we can check, and that is the rotary housing. Now this has a depth. So this one's a little bit more complicated to check, but nevertheless, you can use the same piece here. Okay, so you're going to put this on the end here without the seal, and you're going to check the depth. This part right here you have to be very, very meticulous about. Okay, and we're going to check and see what the book says. All right, so for this right here, we're going to check it. So according to the book, under rotary valve cover specifications, you have your KM A7 here, and it's supposed to be new standard is 1.5 at 1.15 millimeters or 0.045 inches. And then this right here is your service limit. So that's the limit. So that's new, that's one. Okay, so we're going to check it right now and see where we're at. So you remove the O-ring around the outside. You grab your trusty old caliper vernier. Make sure it's at 0. Then you're going to, on the bottom of it, see that sticking out right there? This is the tedious part because you got to make sure this is flat. Okay? So what I do is I grab an ear. These are ears right here. And I stick this right to the ear. So it's flat. And then we got 1.16 on the millimeters. So 1.15 is new, so that rotary valve cover is in pristine condition. So I'm not going to sweat that at all. All right, so I put the rotary valve on. Now, what I recommend is check which way it goes. As the piston is going down, the rotary valve should close. When the piston starts to move up, that's when the valve should open. So I knew which way that came off, so that's the way I put it back on, but that's how you will do yours. So check it and make sure that the rotary valve on the upswing is open, on the downswing it's closed. Okay? I'm using one from a KE100. It's the same one, same thickness, just that this one's kind of worn and I don't like the looks of it. Now I could have some other issues going on with this bike. I'm not really sure. We're just going to keep plugging away at it. So, all right, I'm going to go get a paper towel. I want to wipe that all off, make sure there's no debris, no dirt, or nothing on that surface. All right, so we got the rotary cover cleaned off. And remember, this little jet right here, this is what I was talking about. This right here is from your automatic oiler. So when you run a premix, no oil goes through that. And that right there creates premature wear on your rotary valve. So while you guys are thinking you're all cool, changing your bike over to premix, you're actually destroying this valve. And now right there can cause loss of compression and other things. It happens over time. It doesn't happen right away, but it does happen. Trust me. Okay, so remember, these are not KXs. A lot of people, oh yeah, it's a 100. Yeah, it is a 100. But you guys got to remember, these bikes are like, basically like mopeds, you know, on steroids. So you can get more power out of them. But remember, if they're not right, they're not right. So, all right, let's put this on. Be gentle with it, putting it on. Don't just stuff it, because there is a seal, and it's got to, what do you call it there? It's got to go on all the way around. If it doesn't, it's going to leak. Okay. Make sure my seal did not pop off. It did not. All right, good. All right, so we got that on there. And now we're going to install the screws. For the housing. Don't like this screw, not using it. If you have a screw you do not like, replace it. When you tighten these up, go in the crisscross pattern. Kind of like when you do in your lug nuts, you know? On your car. Okay. Then stop, make sure it's all nice and clean. Everything is good. And then we're going to put the gear on there. Now this gear right here has a little hole in it right there. And on the back side it does not. It has nothing. Just flat, you know. So wipe it down, clean it, and the hole faces the front. Faces you. Sides on. Then you have your jam nut, your jam washer right here, yellow pin that goes in that hole. It's like so. And then you've got your nut. All right, so now we're gonna torque the what do you call it there? The primary gear nut, which is the M12, and that is going to be torqued down to 51 to 54 foot-pounds. Now that's on all the 180 cc's, so it's 51 to 54 foot-pounds. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove your spark plug. You're going to use a spark plug piston stop, and you're going to thread that into the motor to stop the piston from rotating, you know, from the crank rotating. And if you don't have a piston stop, you can use that string trick I taught you guys. You take some, what do you call it there, shoestring, you stick it in the cylinder, leave a little bit hanging out, and then rotate it till it jams up in there. So you can do that, but I'm using a piston stop. Go back to the cylinder there. Okay, once that's in there like so. What size was that? I don't know which one that was. I think it was this one. Yep. And then I'm going to use my torque wrench. This is just a regular Craftsman torque wrench. It reads in Newton meters and foot-pounds. I'm going to torque that down to 51. Try to go in between. I try to go like 53 if you can. Okay. All right, so we got that all torqued down. And I can rotate the engine freely. And all that. Okay, good. So now I'm going to rotate the engine back a little bit. And I'm going to use the screwdriver, just a regular flathead screwdriver, and my hammer. And I'm going to tap that back. Once you get the lip up, if you want to use a socket, you can. It makes it a little easier, I find, to get it nice and flat. And what I'm doing is that locking tab that goes in back of the nut, you're actually putting that onto it to torque it. So I'm going to end the video there, guys, for now. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have learned something. And we will be right back at it. So I will talk to you guys later. And we'll just pick up right where we left off. I need a break. So I'll talk to you guys later.